Hello class, this is Demetrius Wilson and I'll be the professor for Business 100. This is your general business class. It's an introduction to business and it has small components of all of the various business classes and courses that you'll take throughout your tenure here. So know that this book and this course will touch on economics, it'll touch on marketing, it'll touch on management, but it won't give you the whole picture, but it'll give you a little bit of the picture, as much as you need to know to go into your next courses. So hopefully you find it pretty exciting. For each of the chapters, I'll do a very short lecture on a few key components, and the point of this short lecture is to actually help you to ensure that you understand a lot of things that are going to be on the quiz and can possibly be on the test as well. So make sure you pay close attention to the lecture. They won't be that long for this course, so it shouldn't be that hard. All right, so getting down to business. A business is an activity. So, the first thing is, what is an actual business? And I'm sure you all know what a business is. It's a place that you walk into, you give them money, and they give you a product, or you pay them money, and they provide you with a service. But a business is any activity that provides goods and services to a consumer with the purpose of making a profit. So remember, you're not in business not to make a profit. You're in business to make a profit, and if you're in business to lose profits, you won't be in business too long. Goods versus services, we might purchase goods, like I go purchase candy, Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut, some snacks from 7-Eleven late night, or I may purchase a service, and a service being like a haircut, someone to mow your lawn, someone to wash your car. The difference is it's either tangible or intangible. I can touch a piece of fruit that I purchase. I can touch, well, until I eat it, right? I can touch a piece of candy or a Coke or a Pepsi that I purchase, or a piece of pizza. I cannot touch a haircut. I cannot touch a car wash. But I know that my hair looks better than it did before I got it cut, and I know that my car is no longer as dirty as it was when I got it washed. But you also sometimes, number two, you look at businesses such as nonprofit and not-for-profit. A lot of times people think that these companies are losing money. They absolutely are not. You can look up the Red Cross and you look up how much money they make, and it's obviously a good cause. Not saying that, but they are making money. It's just their intention is not to make any money, but they are making a lot of money. Their intention is to help people, to fund relief efforts and things of that nature. But their intent is not to make money. They just are making a lot of it. Managers, right? So, we'll talk about just general business. Then we also talk about management. And a lot of you guys will take a management course, possibly with me. And it's quite interesting on how things go in your office day to day. A lot of you guys are working students, and you already know a lot of things that will be taught in that course. Managers are responsible for the work performance of other people. I'll tell you, when you go into management and go to management class, they're going to tell you 4 words, and the whole class is going to be based on those 4 words. It's going to be planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So POLC, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. That pretty much sums up management in 4 words. Number 1, planning for, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling a company's resources so that it can achieve its goals, right? A company has goals, and you as a manager have to organize and facilitate things so that they reach those goals. Setting goals and developing strategies to achieve them, right? So you need to set goals, short-term goals or sprints or objectives, and then also long-term goals that you want to hit. And those sprints add up to that complete marathon, which is a success, like a 5-year plan for your company. Design controls for assessing the success of plans and decisions and take corrective action when needed. Now, this is a tough part of the business, the control part. Remember, I said POLC, planning, organizing, leading, controlling. The controlling part is the tough part, and that's where your real true management skills come in. Can you discipline people? Can you discipline functions? Can you do certain things, do the tougher things that people just really don't want to do, like be a change agent, come into a company and say, hey, we're going to make a lot of changes, and this is how we're going to do it. So that's the tougher part of management. You'll have economics class. You'll have micro and macroeconomics. But this book will touch on economics, not in the full value, but just in the sense of, hey, this is what economics is, and this is how it relates to general business. Economics is the study of the production, right? You create something, the distribution, You move it from point A to point B. And consumption of goods and services. You created the loaf of bread. You distributed it. You took, sent it to the store via truck. And then I purchased it and then I ate it, right? So I consumed the good or the service, right? Resources are the inputs used to produce outputs, right? So input would be wood, an output would be a skateboard. An input would be wood, an output would be a pencil. Resources may include any or all of the following. Land and other natural resources, right? So natural resources, like I said, wood and also land. Labor, physical and mental, right? So you have some people that are, chopping wood, and you have some people who are measuring the dimensions of the wood. They're more intellectual in terms of their job process. Capital, including buildings and equipment, right? Companies have to purchase buildings and equipment to make those skateboards. And entrepreneurship is also one of the resources that is listed as well. The system, when we talk about the different types of, of government and how much control they have over, kind of what you're doing. The system with the highest level of government control is communism. Obviously, there are a lot of different rules that you guys probably are not even familiar with, such as, you have to, if you purchase a house, you can't sell it for a certain amount of time. Or if you can sell it at all, you have to go to a certain school, things that we all take for granted. A lot of other countries don't have choices in such a matter. Socialism, industries that provide essential services such as utilities, banking, and healthcare may be government owned. Other businesses are owned privately, right? So it's not that there's no privately owned companies. There are some, but a lot of it's under government. Like you look at France and their healthcare system, and it's like everybody gets healthcare. And so that's why a lot of people said, hey, well, America should be like that, where everybody gets healthcare and things would work out a lot better. So you have to look at like a socialist society, which kind of means that everybody's kind of, in the same bowl. And in a capitalist society, you can make as much money as you want. And that's why you'll see a lot of doctors from other countries. They'll come over because they're in another country and they're making the same as me. And I'm a maintenance worker because they're heavily taxed. Like they make more money than me, but they're so heavily taxed that their take home is somewhere near my take home pay as well, because everybody's kind of, on the same playing field. So they feel like they're undervalued in their country. And then they move to the United States and they get paid the money that they are due. The economic system, which most businesses are owned and operated by individuals, is a free market system, also known as capitalism. That's what we are here in the United States. We are capitalists. You can make as much money as you possibly can to your heart's desire. We'll also talk about the health of the economy. All of the world's economies share three main goals, right? Three things that they're focusing on. Is growth, right? You want to continue to grow, and just like a business, you want to continue to grow. High employment, you want to continue to employ a steady amount of people and also increase that amount of people that you're employing. And price stability, prices that shoot up and shoot down and shoot back up even further. That doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help businesses. Doesn't help people either. Because the people will go purchase another product, and then the people who work for the businesses will lose their job because they can no longer employ those individuals. GDP, or gross domestic product, is defined as the market value of all the goods and services produced by the economy in a given year, right? So they get this total number and say, hey, this is how much it was worth. To keep the economy going strong, people must spend money on goods and services, right? If we don't spend, if we're frugal and we keep all our money, it's not going to fuel and stimulate the economy. Reduction in personal expenditures for things like food, clothing, appliances, automobiles, housing, and medical care could severely reduce the gross domestic product and weaken the economy. So if we just all stop spending, it will weaken our economy. Price stability occurs when the average of the prices for goods and services either doesn't change or changes very minimal. That's good. Hey, prices stay the same. No big deal if prices went down, which never happens. That would be great. Like I've never seen the price of gas. I mean, I know it fluctuates a little bit here and there, but I've never seen it like go back to like, hey, back in the day, gas was $1 a gallon. I've never seen it just revert back to that. And it obviously never will. Rising prices, like I said before, are troublesome for both individuals and businesses. Now, there are different types of competition when you talk about, especially products, but products and services as well. So you have one is perfect competition. Exists when there are many consumers buying a standardized product from numerous small businesses, because no seller is big enough to influence enough or to affect the price enough for sellers and buyers to accept the going price, right? So if you're a fisherman and you go get catfish, and I'm a fisherman and I go get catfish, can you really sell it for much more than I can sell it for? No, it's pretty much the going rate, because how can you tell, that your catfish is so much better than mine? And then monopolistic competition, we still have many different sellers as we have under perfect competition. But however, they don't sell identical products like Coke and Pepsi. They're not identical. They're both soft drinks. They're both, you quench your thirst. Tastes really good with with the pizza, but they're not exactly the same. So instead they sell differentiated products that differ somewhat or perceived to differ, even though they serve similar purpose. So if you're a Coke or Pepsi drinker and you're hardcore, no taste test can fool you. Like, no, that's Pepsi and that's Coke. But the rest of us who don't really drink it, a lot of times we can't even tell the difference. Oligopoly means that there's only a few sellers. In an oligopolistic market, each seller supplies a large portion of all the products sold in the marketplace. In addition, because there's a cost, and it's a huge cost typically in starting a business, an oligopolistic industry is usually very high. The number of firms entering is very low. Like airline, you don't see just people just popping up every day. Like, you know what? Hey, John, I'm gonna go ahead and start up an airline company. You want to go in on this with me? Right? You don't see that. Like it usually takes a lot of time, planning, and a lot of money. In the automobile industry, like you just don't see people just say, hey, hey, Bob, let's go ahead and make a new car. It just doesn't work like that. You see some main players, and that's what you see. Now, you'll see some future things that we may talk about in class, like future Faraday, and like obviously Tesla, who's jumped on the scene and done a lot of things to say, hey, we're going to be a big player in this market as well. In terms of the number of sellers and the degree of competition, monopolies lie at the opposite end of the spectrum from perfect competition. That means there's only one seller in the market. Like, for instance, your electricity. You have to go with whoever's in your area, and that's just, you have no choice. Now, you'd be surprised to see, unless you've lived in one of these states, that other states, about 16 in the United States, actually have the choice to choose who they purchase their electricity from. And I happen to work in that industry. So those are some of the things that are going to be on your quiz. Just a short overview of what's in Chapter 1. You'll also get a short overview for what's in Chapter 2, because typically in such a condensed course, we'll do 2 chapters a week. So Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, make sure that you review the videos. Make sure that you read the chapter. The textbook's already posted in the module for you. Make sure you watch the videos that are posted. They are very good videos that are very applicable to what you're studying. And then make sure that you take each of the applicable tests. That's one way of saying, hey, I'm checking into the class. If you don't take the test or the quiz for the week for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, you run the risk of possibly being dropped from the class. So that's it. I told you it would be very, very short. Make sure that you read through the chapter. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And hopefully let's all get off to a good start. Thanks a lot and have a great day.